Hi everyone, my name is Kate Emerald, the founder of Life of Emerald. It's for your mind, body, and soul. A simple and practical lifestyle to promote both physical and mental well-being. It is an online studio scaling global impact by spreading world knowledge, spirituality, and cultures. Global Healing Movement 2020 is dedicating to mental health advocacy. And our guest today is Ron Foglia. Hi Ron.
Hello, Kate. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to host you, Ron. Ron is a high-performance stress relief coach working with heart-centered entrepreneurs and leaders who want to make the world a better place, add value to people's lives, and enhance their community, all while easily adding profit to their bottom line. The focus is about evolving their business, career, and life based upon their vision, values, and goals. Today, Ron uses evidence-based neuroscience and quantum physics protocols to help business owners and leaders to alleviate stress in as little as 60 seconds. Then, he shows clients how to easily leverage their intuitive intelligence and effectively use the creative ability they were born with to intentionally create the business and life they have always wanted. Welcome, Ron.
Kate, stress is an issue that unless we get it under control, we are really not going to be able to move forward with our life.
I agree. I've been there.
Well, and I think everything that the world's experiencing right now is contributing to that stress. And you probably know that stress is a hardwired function in our brain. Many years ago, caveman days, we were hardwired with this to protect us from physical danger. The lions, tigers, and bears that could eat us at any moment. Many of us, fortunately, don't have that physical stress and danger. But mentally and emotionally, if we focus on fear, and our brain interprets that as stress. And when that happens, we focus on our weaknesses and vulnerabilities, which just isn't a good place to make decisions.
Do you think we make up stress?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh, is my audio all right?
Yes, I didn't hear the question. It broke up just a bit.
Sure. So do you think we humans make up stress? We're no longer in caveman period, but we're very civilized. Are we making up stress?
It's not that we're making it up. When we have emotional burdens, when things aren't going our way, and even looking at the current situation the world's dealing with as far as this pandemic goes, it creates a certain amount of fear. And that fear, the brain interprets as stress, as something that's threatening, because we really don't know the full impact, and we hear different stories. And the more we focus on the news, the media, and even social media, we're hearing a lot of negative information. So our brain is wired to see that as a threat. Any threat creates stress in our body. So that fight, flight, freeze mechanism kicks in, which is, of course, known as the stress response.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And do you think the media plays a big role in creating stress in our lives?
Unfortunately, I do. I believe the focus is on the negative. And when we focus on the problem, we get more of the problem. All it does is keep us in an emotional, worked up state. But yet where we really want to focus is on the solution. If we put our energy in the solution, and I'm a believer, is where your thoughts and your energy go, where your thoughts go, your energy flows. And if we focus on the solution, how can we help one another? How can we get through this? How could we build a sense of community? How can we come from our hearts as, for that compassion for our fellow man? That's where we want to focus our energy. So I think with the media focusing on all the things that are wrong and bad about the situation, it keeps us in a continuous state of stress. That's just the way our mind's wired, unless we take proactive steps to get out of it.
It almost feels like there's a spiral going down and spiral going up. And it depending on where we put our attention, we can go up and down.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And a lot of people really get into this stress situation and they really don't know how to get out of it. They really don't have the tools available to them to shift out of it. One of the things that really helps, Kate, is I suggest to all my clients, minimize your media intake, and that includes social media, to no more than 30 minutes a day. You'll find out everything you need to know in the world in 30 minutes. And give your mind a break. You just got to get away from it because, you know, obviously we're all human, but it's very difficult to constantly bombarded and be in a very positive mental state. So that's the first step. You really have to minimize the impact of what's being sent your way.
And almost like the nutrition we're feeding our brain is through TV, and what nutrition are we going to feed our brain is really up to us.
Yes, absolutely. It is. And that's part of my passion, because a lot of people don't know we have a choice. And they say, well, if you have a choice, Ron, what is it? What can we do? So that's my passion of studying and getting involved in neuroscience and some of the quantum physics protocols, because there are very simple techniques that have been discovered that really help, that help you back that stress down. And quantum physics and neuroscience has studied the brain to validate this. And they're showing that if you repeatedly use some of these positive protocols, it's going to put you in a positive mental frame of mind. And that's how we get on that upward spiral that you just discussed.
So it's all a matter of a tool, the correct tool to implement whenever we're going down the spiral, to pull ourselves up, to go up the ladder, the spiral, to more joy, peace, loving, and harmony.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the catch where it gets a little tricky. Our bodies are an incredible creation, and they're very resilient. So we have this stress, and we have it so long and so much of it, our body adapts. We don't even realize we're stressed anymore. So we really have to take a deep breath and step back and be honest with ourselves.
This is very true. Someone said the best thing about human is that we are adaptable, and the worst thing about human is we're adaptable.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The body's resilient. The body can handle a lot of pain, physical pain as well as emotional pain. But where it rears its head is when we get to a point where we need to make decisions or interact with other people. At that point, our answers tend to be short. We have this, what is it? It's a tendency to really not give another person the benefit of the doubt. It's really out of character for most of us, because I believe that, everyone is heart-centered. I believe we all really want to come from that loving, caring, sharing perspective. And I believe most of us do. But when we're out of that zone and we're being bombarded with that stress response, it's difficult to do. If the brain focuses on weakness and vulnerabilities, then when we interact with people, that's where we come from. We come from that perspective. And I don't believe that's who we really are.
Yeah, this is interesting. We human, as loving being, we're all centered in heart, and life gets in the way, and we get to adapt to stressors, and sometimes we don't even know about it, that we're stressed and we're adapting under the stress. And your role and how you contribute your talent and time to the world is by showing with quantum physics and the neuroscience that, hey, you can do better, like you can live a better life. Here's a way.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And my focus, I work with leaders, I work with business owners, but I also work with individuals. The reason I like to focus on leaders, professionals, and business owners is I believe that by helping them, because they have employees, because they have customers, and their families, that we have the ability going that route to impact more people. just larger volume, just by the chain reaction of these things being shared. So, you know, I love working with leaders. For leaders to be heart-centered when they're making their decisions, it is just so important. It's when there's any kind of a argument, any kind of a disagreement, they tend to be emotional. When people are emotional, they don't sit down and really hear one another talk. You have to back the emotions off, and then we can have a conversation focused on the solution. So that's why I like to work with leaders and professionals and business owners, but I love working with individuals too, because once you get to that point, that's where we can make the change. That's where we can make the difference.
Mm-hmm. A ripple effect is all around us, and systematically looking at the leaders and their impact to many people that depend on them, their ecosystem, I see the point of influencing the leaders to stay grounded in the heart and have a healthy relationship to the world around them. That can really, by default, influence many. And also one-on-one, once you heal you, that is contributing to global peace. That's
Absolutely. And the goal, Kate, is to take this and build community. We're communal by nature. You know, we live together. We're kind of a pack. We have kind of a pack mentality. We're extremely social. And getting this information out to the point where we're building community of like-minded people, of people who are there to help one another in times of crisis. It's happened all throughout history. It doesn't matter whether it's a geological event, an earthquake, a volcano, people rush to help other people. That's just our nature. We need to remember that and start practicing it, especially now that the world is in a crisis, that we need to make sure we remember who we really are. And truthfully, and I don't mean to get too philosophical here, but we're all brothers and sisters. There's only one race on the planet, and that's the human race.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ron, could you tell us, our audience, one or two personal story which has shaped your worldview today?
Well, yes, I can. Back during the last recession, 08, 09, I was doing consulting for small businesses. And in consulting these businesses, and of course they were in trouble, financial trouble, I found a pattern very quickly. The higher the stress, the deeper the trouble they were in. So I shifted my consulting to help relieve the stress of the owner, the leaders, and even employees. In instances where we were successful, that we were able to turn those businesses around quickly because the focus was here on the solution, which is the key. The stress was the stress never goes away. Let me tell you that up front. But you have tools to control it so you can make good decisions. The interesting thing is I didn't realize when I was developing those protocols and working with them that I would need them to, I call it, save my life a few years later. During that recession, you know, my wife and I were a two-income household. We were living on two incomes. My wife had lost her job. During that time, we did what we could to save our home. And in that process, you know, we went through most of our savings in retirement. So it was a very stressful time for us. But in addition, I found out that one of my clients was interested in hiring me. So I thought, this is the light at the end of the tunnel. We could settle down, we'd have a good job, enough income, et cetera, to stabilize our life. Well, I didn't realize the volatility of the oil and gas industry. 5 months after I was hired, the oil and gas prices crashed. Contracts were not being renewed, fields were closing, and in 5 months, my employer at that time had to let almost everyone go, about 80 employees, including me. So I'll never forget that drive home to tell my wife, who had been unemployed for 2 years now, that I just lost my job. The feeling in the pit of my stomach was just one I'd rather not relive. So when I got in there and told her, it was almost like we went into shock, because here's what we were faced with. You know, we had only $1,000 to our name. Our only vehicle needed a transmission. And within 2 weeks, we would be homeless because we couldn't afford the rent payment for the coming month. So after about 2 days, and literally we didn't speak much in 2 days. You know, it was, and I can't even say I was thinking. My mind was just numb. But at that point, it dawned on me that I needed to use these same protocols that I helped these businesses with a few years earlier to help get my life on track. Fortunately, I was able to get enough traction, because remember, the stress never goes away. I was able to get enough traction to reach out to another former client, and they were willing to hire me. So we got a foothold. But as I mentioned, that stress doesn't go away. So I was still dealing with the stress, even though it was better. And I found that I needed more than just a stress relief. So quantum physics provided some evidence-based protocols that allowed me to start creating the life that I wanted. Excuse me, the life that I wanted. You know, from a spiritual standpoint, there was a time when the word was spoken and worlds were created. We were told we were made in that image and likeness. And I believe that image and likeness is the power of the spoken word to create our world. I believe that's the gift we were brought into this world to use to positively not only build our life, but to help build the world. Neuroscience has evidence that shows this actually to be factual. They have put together different experiments and different research that shows our word creates. Thoughts do become things. You know, I hesitate to use the phrase law of attraction because there's a lot of baggage and misunderstanding around it. But the essence of it is when we focus and we visualize and we generate the feeling, we're here to be happy. That's what we're created to be. And in that happiness, we can really create the life, the family, the prosperity, everything that our heart desires. And that is what I needed. That's getting the stress under control. I needed to take the second step. That was the second step for me. Now, here's really what this means for your audience and the world and anyone who's interested. You know, there's a two-step process that I use with my clients to get rid of stress and give them the tools to keep it under control. You know, we're human. We're always going to be dealing with some level of resistance, some level of stress. And then using the power of our spoken word to begin creating what we really want, what's in our heart.
The power of word is like an anchor, what you want to manifest in the near future. You speak it, like how the spiritual realm, the spiritual world, from that perspective, the world was created. The word was, I think, word was with God. God was word, something like that. And
yes,
as we speak the word, however we want, that is which is an alignment to what we want to manifest. It anchors us into that reality in terms of quantum physics. Did I get you right?
Yes, you're absolutely right, because everything's energy. Science has proved there really is no matter. You know, these physical things are just energy vibrating at different frequencies. The power of our spoken word creates that is also energy. So what we're doing is we're taking the energy and shaping it in the form of our intentions, our words, and our beliefs. Now, we're not trained to know how to do this. So we put out some very positive things, and then we see reasons why it doesn't happen. Or we put out that, you know, we want an income of $50,000 a year. And so we're working towards it, and we're positive, and we're saying affirmations. But then we look at our bank account and we're worried because it's not there. We're neutralizing the effect of what we're doing. So you have to stay in that positive realm. And instead of seeing that it's not there, just say, hey, it's on its way. I'm making progress. So we're in this state, you've got to take an attitude that we're in the state of becoming, and be happy because it's on the way. Our end result, our goal, I don't believe is the necessary objective of our thoughts. It's the journey. And the journey is being happy and excited that it's coming. And sure, when it comes, you're going to be excited, but we're by our nature, we're always creating. We never get it done. You know, when you get that pay level, when you find that relationship, when you find that home or whatever your goal or desire is, you're going to be ready for the next thing. And you already know how to create it because you've created it once. So we're always in the state of creating, whether it's for ourselves, for community. And this is the process. I believe in being emotionally happy because we have an emotional guidance system. If we're upset, if we're mad, if we're angry, that's telling us we're out of harmony with our essence. We're out of harmony with our goals, our dreams. Again, we need to find a way to shift back to that positive focus again.
So emotion is like a signpost. Based on what emotion you're feeling, it's a signal to realign that is easily flowing based in love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When we're happy, everything just unfolds. You know, people, and it rubs off on people around us. You know, it's easy to have fun and meet and talk with a stranger because they're really not a stranger, but you know, you just have that harmony right off the bat. When you're out of alignment, if someone said something to upset you, or someone cut you off in traffic, or, you know, if you allow that to work on you and you get angry and upset about it, yes, you're out of alignment and you begin to neutralize all that positive energy. Now, here again, 51% is all you need. If you could be positive and happy 51% of the day, you're on your way. But it's an awareness. We've never been taught how this process works. If we could just focus on being happy, that would go a long way to reducing resistance and allow us to achieve our dreams.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces that I could, you know, philosophically unfold with it, because the quantum physics is fascinating. The thoughts creating reality, neuroscience is fascinating, and it's all evidence-based. And even sometimes when we cannot prove the existence of the manifestation through quantum physics, it is there. And Dalai Lama speaks about quantum physics in the Western world is a new concept for the civilization. However, in the Buddhism tradition, quantum physics has always been there with them for 2,000, 4,000 years, something like that time period. So that's great. Ron, we would like to ask you, what is your current understanding of the current state of planet Earth or the collective consciousness?
Well, the way I see it, we're in an exciting time. This is an opportunity. Sure, there's a lot of negative perception out there. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of worry and concern. But I see this as a tremendous opportunity for each of us to contribute to creating what has been referred to in many writings as 1,000 years of peace, the millennium of peace upon the earth. The economy has to change. We can't be bottom line oriented at the expense of our employees, of our customers. You know, you get more out of your employees when you treat them as people. And I believe this is part of the evolution we're going to see. And it's an opportunity to create, through vision, through this creative process that I just discussed, a world that is one community, a world that's heart-centered, a world that takes care of the needs of those who don't have the opportunity or who are less fortunate. And I think this is going to be a very natural evolution. So this is a great opportunity, and I'm really excited because I know the more people I help, we get one step closer, which is why my passion is to get the word out and to help as many people as I can and help this ripple effect. So this is a time of tremendous excitement and opportunity.
Mm-hmm. However, it appears on media, this is an opportune time. And thoughts create reality. We can be mindful of putting our attention into something more mindful, such as, you know, listening to good music that reminds you of love and past good memory. Also, you know, doing something that really fuels your passion. I want to ask you about the oneness, one race, and at this time in the juncture in history, how our collective consciousness is evolving fast paced. As you mentioned, that there's 1,000 years of millennial, that peace is coming, something like that. The
It's on its
utopia,
way. Yeah.
on its way. The utopia is on its way. And from your perspective, the human race is one race. Could you explain that a little bit more? I agree with you, but I would like to hear from you.
I don't believe there's any difference. We have different cultures. And there are differences between cultures, the way we're brought up. Some people have more of an indigenous background where they're more one with the land, more peaceful with the land, and they work hand in hand. And yet there's some of the more advanced societies that are more technological oriented. But I believe there's a harmony there, that we're all working towards the same thing. We're all just taking a little different path to get there. So this whole oneness, in my mind, is our essence. We're all created from the same source. We're all created from the same energy. You can call it God, you can call it Buddha, divine intelligence, Yahweh, or as the Star Wars trilogy or the Star Wars movies put out, you call it the Force. It's love. You know, we were created by God, by love, whatever you want to call it, and we were all put here, I'm absolutely convinced, to be happy. And in that happiness, you know, you're not going to let your brother or your sister suffer. And please let me be clear. I'm not talking about a socialistic society. I'm talking about a society that's heart-centered and built on love. That's the key to our essence. That's where we're one. You know, quantum physics gets into separating the personality and the physicalness, and they have demonstrated we're all energy. We're all unique because we have our own special blueprint, that blueprint that, you know, God or whatever this creative source gave us, with very different talents. And it's the pooling and contribution of those talents to the common good that's going to help create this oneness and this millennium of peace.
What image comes up is puzzle pieces. Everyone's a puzzle piece of a good, grand picture.
Absolutely. Because we all have different gifts, all have different talents, and you may have a talent that may help me. I may have a talent that can help you. And when we pull that together, we're taking the oneness from which we came from and helping it manifest in the physical plane. Mm. I know that concept can be a little far out, and when I tell some people, they look at me sideways, but that's my belief, because it's all energy, you know, and when we connect at the heart level, the energy level, is when we can make amazing things happen.
Okay, could you speak to us about the quantum physics, the phenomenon there, in terms of meeting the certain type of people at a certain life stage? People come and go. And I find that the right people come on that specific time and space to the message I needed, something like that. You know, like, you know, walking the Camino walk in Spain. You're walking your own pace. People can walk with you 5 minutes and part, and for 5 days and part. And the, you know, can you explain to us how is this possible or realistic in terms of quantum physics?
My understanding is, and if I understand what you're asking me, you're asking me about how and why our paths cross, mm-hmm. when they do and how they do. Mm-hmm. I believe there's a divine plan. We don't know what that divine plan is, but whoever put this plan in place knows what that plan is. So our paths cross because there's something we need from one another. If our paths cross, now let's say we're on a bus together for an hour going somewhere, there was something we needed from the energy of that person. We may get it verbally, we may get it with a smile, we may get it energetically. We don't always know, but there's no coincidence. I'm not a believer in coincidence. I believe we're all at the right place at the right time. I believe in divine order is what I believe in. So everything's ordered. We come in contact with one another because there's something we have to share. And it could be nothing more than a glance. And we may not even make eye contact, but everything is divinely ordered. There's no mistakes, whether we like it or not. There's no happenstance. There's no coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. I believe it's to make us stronger, it's to make us better, and it's to help us become more whole.
Synchronicity. Ron, let's jump into the fourth question. Could you please share one simple, practical thing that our audience can implement in their lives right now?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the protocols that I teach, and I love sharing this, I affectionately call it my 60-second stress buster. This is a combination of a breathing and a visualization technique that literally can shift your energy in 60 seconds. In fact, research shows that this particular exercise can, 95% of the people that actually do this will feel the difference. In fact, this particular exercise has been used for years to train elite military and law enforcement agencies. So they back the stress off, because when they go into a crisis situation, they're usually armed. And in those situations, you want them to be clear and know exactly what they're doing. And they've been using it for years successfully. So I'd like to take your listeners through it, if I may.
Please, thank you very much.
The way we start is, I want you to feel your body. Just scan your body quickly and see where you may be holding stress. And it's different for everybody. Somebody may hold it in their eyes, the back of their neck, their forehead, shoulders, chest, abdomen. Just do a quick scan. Don't try to change anything. Just become aware. The next thing I'd like you to do is be aware of your thoughts. Are your thoughts racing? Are they tense? Are you thinking this guy's crazy, it's never going to work? Whatever you're thinking, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Don't try to change them. Just be aware of the frequency of your thoughts. Now, if you're in a safe place and you can do this, close your eyes. If not, do it eyes open, and I'm going to walk you through, I'm going to explain this technique, and then we're going to do it. You're going to breathe into a 4 count through your nose, and you're going to see the air coming through your nostrils. Hold it into your lungs to a 4 count, see it circulating in your lungs. And then you're going to breathe that air out through your nostrils to a 4 count, and then you hold it out to a 4 count and see it disappear. That'll be just about 16 seconds. And we're going to do that 4 times. So we're going to start by taking one deep cleansing breath, and then I'll walk you through it. So breathe in, let it out. Okay, let's start the exercise. Let's breathe into our nose to a 4 count. Ready? Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it out. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it out. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it in. Exhale. Hold it out. One more time. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it out. That should be just about a minute. The first thing I'd ask you to do is notice your body. Scan your body. Has that stress backed off? Has that feeling changed? Become aware of your thoughts. How have your thoughts changed? And Kate, may I put you on the spot?
Mm-hmm.
ask you those questions.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I had some pain or pressure in my neck and my shoulder. I equate that as responsibility. And I witnessed that I've been a little bit critical of myself. And once I did the breathing, it dissipated.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I love this technique because it will get you results. I suggest to my clients that they use this all throughout their workday. Set their phone every 2 hours, stop what you're doing, and do the breathing technique. Many of them tell me, Kate, that after they've done this for 3 or 4 days, they no longer have an afternoon crash. That mid-afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock crash, it goes away. And back in the day when everyone was driving home, many of them told me that by the time they got home, they had plenty of energy. They weren't dragging. They could, make their meals, tend to the children, do their shopping, or work out at the gym, whatever it needed. And it's also a great technique to use when you're at work. If you have a crisis you have to deal with, if there's stress, if there's something going on where you need that focus or clarity to make a decision, this is a wonderful way to do it. Because once you get the stress backed off and calmed, you now have access to your intuition. Your intuition, in my mind, is nothing more than God being able to communicate with us and help guide us and give us answers. This is another gift that we often overlook.
Oh, that's a great way of looking at intuition. Intuition is our way to connect with God, God speaking through us.
Yes, and God's always speaking to us, but we're busy with our thoughts, we don't hear it. So when we slow down the thoughts, that communication comes through. And one of the things that I teach my clients is how to use intuition on demand to solve problems, to get answers for business, for relationships, whatever it may be. There's Elon Musk, Oprah, Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, famous leaders from all over the world contribute the use of their intuition as a major part of the success they've been able to achieve. So it's exciting to me to see what levels of success could be achieved, and knowing that we have that same ability within us. That's why I'm so excited about this time, about helping people, because it's something that there's nothing that is more, I'm not even sure of the word, that does my heart any better than seeing people achieve their dreams, their goals, and have the tools to do it. I don't believe people should be dependent on me. I'm going to teach you the tools. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to help you get on your way. But it's the tools and your application of them that you have for life, that you can apply to your business, to your career, to your life, to whatever you want.
Yep, very healthy. You're teaching the clients how to fish. You're not giving them fish. You're teaching them how to fish so they can utilize that fishing skills in order to pull themselves out of the downward spiral.
Absolutely.
Up the spiral ladder.
Yeah, absolutely. My number one value is autonomy. The freedom to do what I want when I want. And I believe that that's probably going to be one of the top values for almost everyone. They want that freedom to choose. They want that freedom to be successful, the freedom to have the lifestyle they want. If it's working 60, 70 hours a week, that's fine. If it's finding that work-life balance with you and your family, with nature, with life itself, then you have the ability to create exactly what you want.
And with autonomy, and the waking up to our truest version of ourselves, we can collectively achieve the true diversity that we really been looking for, the ideal world.
Yes, and see, that's the beauty. And you asked me this question earlier. That's the beauty of all the different cultures, all the different races, all the indigenous people. Our focus, in my opinion, needs to be on celebrating the diversity. What's unique about what you do? You know, that's one of the reasons I love world travel. I'm fascinated to learn about other cultures, where they come from, what they believe in. And when you boil it down, we're all the same. We believe in the same things. You know, we want a better future for our children. We want, you know, all of our family to be around the table at dinner time when we come home. We want to be able to celebrate life. And it doesn't matter whether, you know, you live in the Middle East or you live in Asia or Australia or Europe. Everyone wants the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I can see that with traveling the world, that definitely we're all connected in one commonness, and our diversity contributes to the beauty of the dynamicism in the world. And there's always a reason to find harmony by pulling ourselves from the downward spiral to up the spiral, and using the quantum physics and the evidence-based neuroscience to trick us, because we have been tricked, you know, we have been tricked by
Yes.
the system.
Yes, the system has tricked us and we have not been educated. So now we have the understanding and the awareness, and now it's time to celebrate one another and come together to create a world that we dream of. And that's what we need to do, dream. That vision is the key to our future.
I am putting that dream as a request to the universe. All right, Ron, thank you very much for your abundance of wisdom, of feels like rich wealth you're sharing with our audience. Could you share the best way our audience can contact you and or follow you?
Absolutely. The best way to get me, I'm most active on LinkedIn, and it's just my name, Ronald Foglia. And the other way is if you have any questions, and you know what, I'll answer your questions for free. You know, I'm not, yeah, I'd like to get paid, but if you have questions, reach out to me at ron@goldentrailcoaching.com. And one more thing, Kate, I want to offer a gift to all the listeners who may be interested. I have a video, I've recorded a video of the exercise we just did on the program, and it's absolutely free. And everyone can get it. Just go to www.goldentrailcoaching.com/gift. It's the easiest URL you'll ever remember, www.goldentrailcoaching.com/gift. And you can get the video exercise.
Thank you very much for the gifts and wealth, wisdom, and knowledge, and your heart-centered leadership, sharing with all of us what you know from your life experience, including your life story. And I am so happy that your family is in a better place right now. It seems like you're thriving. You guys are thriving.
Yes, Kate, and thank you. I've really enjoyed this. I've had fun. As you can tell, I'm passionate about this. I love talking about this because I know the more I talk about it and the more I share it, the more people will benefit and get some help. And I'm grateful for you for the opportunity to share it with your audience.
It is our pleasure, and you're welcome. And hopefully we can touch base another time.
Thank you so much. I look forward to it.
Thank you, Ron. See you later.
Bye-bye now.